Cute, right? Okay. Recently, I went and visited Josh at Rocky Mountain National Park, and I forgot to bring my camera along. I was gonna bring my camera, I was gonna film from the park, and I just didn't do it, which, you know, I should have, but I wanted to include some of the pictures I took because it's such a gorgeous park. Like, honestly, Rocky Mountain is so beautiful, and Josh has worked at some really beautiful parks. Like, I didn't know Death Valley was as beautiful as it is. I filmed a whole bunch of videos there because I was living with him at the time, and since then we're like 6 months on, 6 months off. He said a coworker calls him an osprey because we're together for 6 months and then he's in a different location for 6 months. You know, I'm starting to get used to it, but since I got to go and visit and I got this lovely hat that right now matches my hair as it's fading out of purple, I wanted to talk about the park a little bit. I wanted to show you some of the images, and I really wanted to talk to you about how I got altitude sickness. Now, I used to live in Flagstaff, Arizona, which is at 7,000 feet. And I had come from Colorado previously. Like, that's at 5,000 feet. They're mile high where I was living. I didn't really know what altitude sickness was like. Like, I knew of it as a concept. I knew of it like other people got sick. So like, I moved from 5,000 feet up to 7,000 feet, lived there for like 10 years, and then I worked at Winter Park, which is about 9,000 feet, and I didn't get bad altitude sickness. I think I got, like, you know, not feeling so great, a little hard to sleep for like 2 days, and a lot of extra water fixed that for me. You know, it was kind of my concept of it. But, you know, people pass out, people get violently ill. Like, altitude sickness is a serious thing. I just never experienced it before. But I've been living at sea level for 6 years now, 7 years now. 2021. So my tolerance for altitude has really plummeted, which I knew. And so we were at my parents' house, which is at 5,000 feet, for like a day, and we were like, oh, we're gonna take it easy. But you know, you get back together with your spouse and you're like, yeah, everything is good, I'm happy, let's go on a little walk. So we went on like a gentle little walk. It was the coolest freaking thing in the world. We saw a moose really close to us. We were walking around a lake. The moose walked right into the lake and was munching on the algae. It was so cool. I have all kinds of pictures of putting up right now, I hope. And I was like, I'm feeling good. Like, I'm not even really lightheaded. We have plenty of water. So we went up a little bit higher to Bear Lake and we walked around there nice and gentle, and I was like, I am feeling it. Like, my legs are good, my body's good, but my lungs are dying. Like, I cannot breathe. I need to sit down every 10 minutes or less, every 5 minutes. But it was so beautiful. And really, we hadn't been walking around for that long. Like, these were two short little roundabouts, totally flat, and it was like no big deal at all. So, you know, we rested after that one, and Josh was talking to a fellow ranger, and they're like, oh, you should go and see the falls down here. And he looked at the map and it was like, oh, it only looks like it's a mile. Like, that's not too bad. This area isn't too up and down, but he hadn't been to those falls before. But they're like, oh, it won't even take you that long, and then you can take the bus back from there. We're like, you know what, that sounds okay. I think I can handle that. 3 walks in one day. Like, this was my downfall. Sea level to 9,000 feet is a stupid ass thing to do if you're gonna be walking around. So I was already like, okay, I'm like winded and tired, but I'm doing fine. I'm really okay. So drank a little bit of water, ate some salty snacks, and was like, yeah, let's do this. We'll just walk and I'll rest as much as I need to. And there were a couple times early on where I was like, I need to just like sit and heave for a second. Like, I can barely breathe. And you know, like, a smart person would probably be like, let's turn back at that point. But I was like, no, it's okay. We'll keep going. Well, a little ways up the trail, we kind of veered off because we're like, is this the falls right here? Like, are we already there? Veered off, and I was suddenly just like, I can't do this. And I sat down and I kind of blacked out. Like, my vision went black, and I remember thinking, like, I need to not die. I need to not die from this stupid thing. And I was so mad, and I was starting to cry. But I was like not really aware. Like, I couldn't possibly have gotten up. I was like, don't faint, don't faint, don't faint. But I was like fainting, and I was totally blacked out. I was sitting down, but it was like I couldn't breathe. My brain was going away. It was really bad. That's not good. So yeah, so I fully blacked out, but I managed to stay sitting because I had kind of gotten myself into a good position. I remember feeling mad and frustrated and really focusing on like, don't faint, don't faint. But then I was confused, and when I could open my eyes and like see, I didn't know where we were for a little while, I was very like all over. I drank a whole lot of water and like very slowly came back to myself and was like, huh, that's not good. That was real bad. Now, we were almost at the end of the hike by that point. We just like barely veered off wrong. So I did go to the end and I sat there for like a half an hour and it was really hard. But the blacking out, that was kind of scary. I would not recommend that. I would definitely not recommend going up to 9,000 feet. Like, it was just, you couldn't get enough water into my system to feel like I had had enough water either. And I just couldn't take a deep breath. Like, you could try and you could like feel your diaphragm go and there was just nothing. Your brain was like, no, that's not proper oxygen. So my brain was just so floaty and I was floaty for the rest of the day. You know, sat at the falls for a while and then hiked back down, and it was way further than the map had said, and there were stairs going down, and luckily it was all downhill, but I was like dying. I was really floaty and really confused a lot of the time for the rest of the way back. Took the bus and I was just like, not doing good, not doing good. So then the next day, Josh was like, you know, we'll just drive around. If you're not feeling good, then yeah, we'll just take it a little bit easy. Well, so where we wanted to go was up to Alpine, which is the highest up visitor center in the park. And that's like 11 to 12,000 feet. And I didn't get to see it. And you know what? As we were driving up, I couldn't stay awake. I just straight up couldn't stay awake. I was just falling asleep the whole way up, and like my eyes were blacking out and I was dizzy and I was just like, nope. I was like asleep for most of it. He went up because it's kind of a narrow windy road, and then it was like, well, let's get you back down and find you some oxygen. I didn't really believe that those like puffy oxygen things worked. Like, I had lived at altitude a lot and I'd seen them all over and I was like, ah, it's just a tourist trap, you don't really need those. But we got back down to 8,000 feet like before I was really awake again. And then we got one of those and it was like immediately, like my head had been hurting really bad. And as soon as I took that, I was like, oh, awake, and my headache went away right away. Like, they only lasted for like 5 minutes, but that oxygen thing worked immediately and effectively. We had to go back up the same way we came. But I was able to stay awake with the oxygen the second time. But like straight up, could not stay awake. We couldn't like go see sights or anything. I was just like, I wasn't there. I was fully gone. My brain was not getting enough oxygen. And then so the next day, I was just like too sick to do anything. It's like I can't go hiking. I felt so sick. I felt awful. It was really kind of lame. So instead we watched Loki. We mostly watched Loki while I was up there, so I saw all of that. Yeah, so that's my story about getting altitude sickness. I felt so much better once we were down. Even to like 8,000 feet was so much better. And going back down to my parents' 5,000 feet, I felt totally fine again, like no more issues. But man, when people talk about altitude sickness, like, take it seriously. I could not have driven myself. There's no chance of that. Like, I fully was asleep. Let this be a warning to you. If you're coming from sea level and you're planning like, oh, I need to take it easy, really freaking take it easy so you can enjoy the rest of your stay, because it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. The body does not recover. I ended up taking like iron tablets and vitamins and things, and I was like drinking electrolytes like crazy the whole time I was there, just to try and like balance it out. And if I'd have been there a week, I'd have been totally fine after that, and I probably like, I wouldn't have used the oxygen. I've taken it even slower, but the oxygen did help very much. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. It was kind of too bad. I didn't get to have as good a time as I wanted to. But I just wanted to talk about that. I was someone who like took altitude sickness seriously for other people, but didn't really take it seriously for myself. And I think we can fairly establish that that's stupid. And if I'd have been on my own, I'd have been in a lot of trouble. Like, luckily Josh has medical training. He knew at which points I was like actually in danger, at which points I really just had to sit and breathe for a little bit. I was okay, luckily, but like, don't be doing this to yourself. Learn from me. Take it easy on yourself. If you're going up an additional 7,000 feet in elevation, you need to chill for at least a day or two before you do anything strenuous. And get yourself a big bowl of pasta, because that really does make you feel a lot better. Alright, that's what I wanted to share for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the pictures that I did take. I'm sorry I didn't take any video. Probably couldn't have taken much video anyway. I did spend a lot of time not feeling good. I was only up there for like 4 or 5 days. But it was fun. I did have a good time. And then my brother drove back with me and we got to see some really nice sights in Seattle as well. So I got to go see like Snoqualmie Falls and Kabuto Gardens, and we just had a lovely time here as well and ate our way through Seattle because our food is really freaking good here. Alright, that's all for me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will speak to you again very soon. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Bye!